Parallel lines. The properties of parallel lines and their transversals with respect to intercepts. Dividing a line segment into equal parts. Students, in our previous topic, we learned some application of parallel lines. In this topic, we are going to learn some other applications. The properties of parallel lines and their transversals with respect to intercepts. First property. Line L, line M and line N are parallel to one another. The intercept formed by these parallel lines on transversals P are segment AB and segment BC. How will you measure the lengths of these intercepts? We can use the divider to compare the lengths of the intercepts. Place the tips of the divider on the endpoints A and B of the intercept segment AB. Now students, without changing the distance between the tips of the divider, place one tip on the point B and see if its other tip can be placed on the point C. What do you see? The two intercept segments AB and segment BC are of equal length. That is, segment AB is congruent to segment BC. Now, draw any other transversal to these same parallel lines. Let us find out what relationship there is between the intercept formed on this transversal. Line L, line M and line N are parallel to one another. The intercept formed by line L, line M and line N on transversal Q are segment DE and segment EF. Now compare the lengths of these intercepts, segment DE and segment EF, with the help of a divider. What do you see? The two intercept segments DE and segment EF are of equal length. That is, segment DE is congruent to segment EF. It means that if the intercept formed by three parallel lines on any one transversal are congruent, the intercept they form on any other transversal are also congruent. Second property. Line X, line Y and line Z are parallel to one another. The intercept formed by these parallel lines on transversal P are segment CD and segment DE. We can use the divider to compare the lengths of the intercepts. Place the tips of the divider on the endpoint C and D of the intercept segment CD. Now students, changing the distance between the tips of the divider, place one tip on the point D and other tip on the point E. If we compare the length between segment CD and segment DE, we find that the length of the segment DE is twice the length of the segment CD. It means that the length of CD by length of DE is equal to 1 by 2. Now draw any other transversal to these same parallel lines X, Y and Z. Let us find out what relationship is there between the intercept formed on this transversal. Line X, line Y and line Z are parallel to one another. The intercept formed by line X, line Y and line Z on transversal of Q are segment LM and segment MN. Now compare the lengths of these intercepts, segment LM and segment MN, with the help of a divider. We find that the length of segment MN is twice to the length of segment LM. It means that length of LM by length of MN is equal to 1 by 2. This shows that the ratio of lengths of the intercept made by three parallel lines on one transversal and the ratio of the lengths of the corresponding intercept made by the same line on any. Dividing a line segment into equal parts. Dividing a line segment into a given number of equal parts. Let us take one example to understand the concept. Divide a line segment of length 5.5 cm into 4 congruent parts. Step of construction. Draw a segment PQ of length 5.5 cm. Place protractor on point P and mark angle of 40 degree. Denote that point as S. Now draw ray from point P through point S. Place protractor on point Q and mark angle of 40 degree. Denote that point as R. Now draw ray from point Q through point R. Take any convenient radius in divider and place the tip of your compass at P. Draw an arc on ray PS and denote as P1. Now students, without changing the distance in divider, place the tip of divider on point P1. Again, draw an arc on ray PS and denote as P2. Similarly, make two more points P3 and P4. Keeping the same radius, make points Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4 on ray QR as you did on ray PS. Draw line segments PQ4, P1, Q3, P2, Q2, P3, Q1, P4, Q using your ruler. P1, Q3, P2, Q2, P3, Q1. Intersect segment PQ in the points A, B and C respectively. To measure the lengths of segment PA, segment AB, segment BC and segment CQ, we use a ruler and divider. We put the tip of divider on P. Increase the distance between the divider and place it on A. Now without changing the distance in divider, place the tip of divider on point A and other on B. Repeat the same process for points C and Q. You will see that each time the distance is same. Therefore students, the length of segment PA, segment AB, segment BC and segment CQ are equal. Dividing a line segment in a given ratio. Divide segment XY of length 4.5 cm at point L so that length of XL is to length of LY is equal to 1:2. Here, we have to divide segment XY in the ratio 1:2. Hence, segment XY must be divided into 1 plus 2 is equal to 3 congruent parts. Draw segment XY of length 4.5 cm. Place protractor on point X and mark angle of 40 degree. Denote that point as P. Now, draw ray from point X through point P. Place protractor on point Y and mark angle of 40 degree. Denote that point as Q. Now, draw ray from point Y through point Q. If we divide the segment 4.5 into 3 congruent parts, we divide 4.5 by 3. We get 1.5. Therefore, we take radius of length 1.5 cm in divider and place the tip of your compass at X. Draw an arc on ray XP and denote as X1. Now, without changing the distance in divider, place the tip of divider on point X1. Again, draw an arc on ray XP and denote as X2. Similarly, make one more point X3. Keeping the same radius, make points Y1, Y2, Y3 on ray YQ as you did on ray XP. Draw line segments XY3, X1, Y2, X2, Y1, X3, Y by using the ruler. XY3, X1, Y2, X2, Y1, X3, Y intersect segment PQ in the points L and M respectively. As the segment XY has been divided into three congruent parts, the length of segment LY is twice to the length of segment XL. Therefore, length of XL is to length of LY is equal to 1:2. Thus, the point L divides the segment XY in the ratio 1:2. Verify this with the help of a ruler and divider. To verify the lengths of segment XL, segment LM and segment MY, we use a ruler and divider. We put the tip of divider on X, increase the distance between divider and place it on L. Now without changing the distance in divider, place the tip of divider on point L and other on M. Repeat the same process for point M and Y. You will see that each time the distance is same. Summary. In this learning object, we have learned the properties of parallel lines and their transversal with respect to intercepts. Dividing a line segment into equal parts. So, that is all in this chapter, students. Math is a fun, so till then keep learning.